Up? My name is Ken Dumbo, the MC with the sauce. Don't forget to subscribe to J Cool.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
A few years ago, 2021 to be specific, around this time, your position and that of your party, the Patriotic Front, was very clear. There was no dispute on who is the president, who is the vice president, who is the chairman, who is the chairman for the youth. It was very clear. The picture is completely different today because there's so many people claiming to be the leadership of the Patriotic Front. As somebody that has been a part of this party for such a long time, and you have been in the leadership of the PF, what comes to mind when you see what is going on with your Patriotic Front today, that even filing in a candidate in a by-election results in a contest within people who feel they are members of the Patriotic Front?
What comes to mind is that it is interesting how some people lose loyalty to friends when their friends are not capable of providing that which they were getting from them hitherto. That's what comes to mind. I say this because, like you rightly said, this time in 2021, Edgar Chagwa Lungu was firmly in control of the Patriotic Front, and he was firmly in control of the presidency as the Republican president. And obviously the party was attractive because people could receive appointments and people felt happy to be associated with the ruling party. But with time, after 2021 elections, Edgar Chagwa Lungu lost elections. The PF lost elections. We lost the authority to superintend over the affairs of the country and became an opposition political party. We obviously that we had before the elections of 2021. And I suppose this is what created some disquiet in some people, to a point where they felt this should just be broken down. And you will recall, like many of your viewers will recall, that everything came to the hilt on the 24th of October 2023. Fortunately, it did not happen in October 2021, nor did it happen in October 2022. It took 2 years. There is always some amount of destabilization in a political party when it loses power, or in any organization. Party. And again, your viewers will remember the circumstances surrounding the 24th of October 2023 event. It was not devoid of external pressure, external influences and participation of people who had nothing to do with the running of the Patriotic Front, people who had nothing to do with the membership of the Patriotic Front. So yes, this is the reflection that I have, and it teaches me one very important lesson, that not everyone who says they are loyal to you or loyal to a cause are loyal because of you or loyal because of the cause. Some could be loyal because of the benefit they derive from that loyalty. And once that benefit which they are deriving is no longer there, the loyalty is put to a very big test.
One of the fundamental problems that the PF is dealing with today is a lack of a succession plan. I know that no single president of a political party must anoint who must take over, but must prepare people to lead the party. Do you think this is a crisis that the Patriotic Front is going through now? a leadership crisis and a lack of a succession plan?
Just for the sake of the record, I was not made Minister of Tourism. I was made Minister of Information, Broadcasting and Tourism. So in effect, I was running two ministries because there were two permanent secretaries. Now, talking about a succession plan, I have to state that the Patriotic Front, like many political parties across the globe, do not have a clear succession plan. There are very few parties that have managed to do that, and one of them is Chama cha Mapinduzi in Tanzania, and kudos to them. But you also realize that that succession plan that they had has come to an end. Now they also don't have a clear succession plan. And the reason for this is because of the dynamism of politics. You cannot possibly have a succession plan as though this is a family thing, where you are certain that after this person, it will be the next will be this one. This is the reason why political parties find it difficult to have a succession plan. You elect a person at the point when there is need for replacement. So to say that this is what has caused the problem that is in the PF is stretching it a bit too far, because you also ought to recall that after the demise of His Excellency President Michael Chilufya Sata, there was no big problem. There was a small period when a lot of us were vying for the presidency. Remember that I was one of those who put in a bid to be elected president of the Patriotic Front. There were a number of us, I think there were about 11 or 12 of us. But after we crossed that bridge and Edgar Chagwa Lungu had been elected president, everything simmered down and Edgar Chagwa Lungu led the party in unison until 2023. He retired from politics soon after elections of 2021. He stayed back. He asked me to run the party and I acted in that position 2021 up to December, the whole year 2022 until October 2023. So it had nothing to do whatsoever with having or not having a succession plan. Edgar Lungu took over from President Michael Sata and he ran the party very well, successfully so, for 7 years. I took over, I ran the party as acting president for 3 years, 2021, October 2023, when what happened. But even beyond that, up to now, 2025, the party is still intact. We may have squabbles here and here. We may hear people who are claiming they are president of this and president of that. But the truth of the matter is that there is only one Patriotic Front. And that is the Patriotic Front for which I am Vice President. And I'm glad that in your intro you introduced me as Vice President of the Patriotic Front.
There's probably someone arguing somewhere about that because it is subject to argument, and I know, and I believe that you acknowledge that. But when we talk about the succession plan, I completely agree that it cannot be said that this person is going to take over. But part of that succession plan is ensuring that someone takes over when there is a need. If there's a evident need, so why did you, as a political party, especially you as acting president and vice president of the Patriotic Front, then fail to lead the party to have a substantive president take over? Because that's perhaps what resulted in what has happened today, that swift action was not taken, and if you would like, somebody took advantage of the situation and proceeded to have their presidency of the Patriotic Front.
Yeah. Some will argue in the manner that you're doing, but members of the Central Committee of the Patriotic Front are alive to the fact that we had drawn a roadmap leading us to what we wanted to hold, the Extraordinary General Conference. As a run-up to that, some people declared interest to contest. And the Central told them, they said, let those who want to contest express interest. And in expressing interest, let them pay a non-refundable fee of 200,000 kwacha, so that we know the people who are intending to contest the elections. And because we were financially crimped political party. We didn't have the finances. We were using that money as a stepping stone to raising more resources for us to hold an extraordinary general conference. What your viewers ought to know is that the constitution of the Patriotic Front requires that there are no less than 5,000 delegates for you to convene a general conference, and that calls for a lot of money. So in the process of raising money towards the general conference, then the 24th of October 2023 issue arose. So it is not that we didn't have the desire, it is that it was part of the plan, but it was interfered with when one person decided to be used on the 24th of October 2023. And when I say to be used, it is because, as every person, every discerning Zambian will realize, what was held at the Mulungushi International Conference Center on that day was beyond the capacity of the people who claimed to have convened that meeting. Those people who gathered there did not have the capacity whatsoever to hold an opposition political party convention on Independence Day, when the state was playing host to a foreign president, on a day when the country was celebrating its 60th independence anniversary, and to be held...
It's 59.
Fine. And to be held, for that matter, at the Mulungushi International Conference Center. Over and above that, those people did not have the capacity to marshal outside broadcasting services of Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation and to be back to back with them covering the presidential state house function with a visiting foreign head of state. Those people did not have the capacity to marshal the police in the numbers that they did to go and give them protection, to actually assist them in holding the convention. They didn't have that capacity. So you have to ask, who then did that? As far as I'm concerned, and as far as many of my colleagues in the PF are concerned, that was state-sponsored. And the people who were there were simply asked to be there, to be stooges, to be used. For what, to what end? With the aim of destroying the Patriotic Front. This is the reason why you will recall that that same night, fingerprints of people who claim to have been elected were lifted by the police. Ever since when have you seen the police lifting fingerprints, or even of criminals during the night? It is never done. But as record at the registrar's office.
Unfortunately, as much as you will belabor this point, and I've heard you say it before, I've heard